Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm going to be taking the Myers-Briggs personality test. I'm not going to be screen recording because I don't have the proper app for that on this PC. All I have is Bandicam, and that is not good enough because it only records for 10 minutes. And my other built-in screen recorder isn't working the way that it's supposed to. So, this is the way it is. You enjoy vibrant social events with lots of people. I don't know about that. I would agree. I do like vibrant social events with lots of people, actually. You often spend time exploring unrealistic yet intriguing ideas. Well, they're not so unrealistic to me. I can see how other people would think that they are. I would put somewhat agree to that. I somewhat agree to that. I don't fully agree with it. Your travel plans are more likely to look like a rough list of ideas than a detailed itinerary. I think I'd rather have a detailed thing, Like, okay, when we get here, we could do this. When we get there, we can do that. You know what I mean? More orderly when it comes to planning things. If you're going to plan something, plan it. You know what I mean? Um, no, I would make sure. I disagree with that. I would try to make it seem as detailed as possible so that it's clear what we're going to do. You often think about what you should have said in a conversation long after it has taken place. I agree with that. I somewhat agree with that. I don't always, but if it's a person who's very important to me, then I do. If your friend is sad about something, your first instinct is to support them emotionally, not to try and solve their problem. I disagree. I try to give solutions. I'm guilty of that. I don't think it's a thing to feel guilty about, but I somewhat agree with that. Well, I disagree, I somewhat disagree. I don't fully disagree because it depends. Sometimes I try to relate with them, but most of the time I try to give them solutions because it's what you're supposed to do. I think if you want to get out of a situation, I can give you a solution to that problem and we can work on it together instead of just sulking in it and nothing happens. That's not cool. People can rarely upset you. I highly disagree. People can upset me. Next, you often rely on other people to be the ones to start a conversation and keep it going. I gotta think about that. If I want to have a conversation with somebody, do I rely on them to start it and keep it going? You have to rely on each other to keep it going. I can throw every trick out of the fucking hat I got, and if you don't reciprocate it, it's not gonna happen. So, I disagree. I somewhat disagree with that. If you have to temporarily put your plans on hold, you make sure it is your top priority to get back on track as soon as possible. Yes, I completely agree with that. I do not like being set off track at all. It makes me very anxious and upset. I want to just get back to it, you know. You rarely worry if you made a good impression on someone you met. I disagree. I strongly disagree. I always want to make a good impression on people. Sometimes I don't care, but I'll put somewhat disagree. I won't put fully disagree. It would be a challenge for you to spend the whole weekend all by yourself without feeling bored. Strongly agree. That would be boring. Yeah. You are more of a detail-oriented than a big-picture person. More detail-oriented than a big-picture person. No, I try to look at the big picture. Like, I won't give any examples, but I always actually really do try to look at the big picture. Because if you focus on the details, you'll find 1,000 reasons to be upset. But if you look at the big picture and say, is this altogether a negative thing? You might find the answer is no. So, I will say that I disagree with that strongly. You are very affectionate with people you care about. Strongly agree. I am very affectionate with people I care about. You have a careful and methodical approach to life. I disagree with that. It's not careful, and sometimes it's not very methodical. Sometimes it's a little more erratic. Like if I want to do something, I just kind of do it. I'm a little bit better now than I used to be. You are still bothered by the mistakes you made a long time ago. Yeah, I somewhat agree with that. Sometimes they do still bother me. Yeah. Some things there's just no justification for. At parties and similar events, you can mostly be found further away from the action. It depends. That one depends. It's hard to answer that. It's hard to answer that question. I mean, it's kind of cool to be around people, seeing what they're doing and stuff, if something cool's happening. No, if I'm there, I want to be around people. It feels better that way. So I disagree. You wouldn't find me by myself in an empty room or something, or hanging out with like 4 people and I could be hanging out with 10. You know what I mean? So I disagree. It's a small disagree, because I think prior in my life I would have been that antisocial, but I'm really not now. If I go somewhere at a party with lots of people, there's lots of people there for a reason, and I should hang out with them while I have a chance. You often find it difficult to relate to people who let their emotions guide them. Strongly disagree. I well, I strongly disagree. I can relate to those people very well because my emotions sometimes get the better of me. So I understand. When looking for a movie to watch, you can spend ages browsing the catalog. No. I don't know. I guess I could spend a long time. I could spend a pretty long time. Because I look at a movie and I'm like, am I gonna sit through this? Am I gonna want to watch it? And of course, when you click on it, it's like, you feel comfortable immediately. But it's always right before you make that decision. It's like, am I gonna sit through this? Am I gonna regret this? But when you just watch it, it's like, okay. I don't know. It really depends what movies there are. I'm gonna go with not sure on that one. I'll just put it in the middle. You can stay calm under a lot of pressure. I can. Anybody can. It's a matter of finding the strength within yourself to do so. I don't like this question. I can, because I don't always feel the pressure. You know what I mean? If the question was, do you? I would say, usually, no, I don't. Usually, I kind of get stressed under a lot of pressure. But sometimes I'm just relaxed, and people are like, dude, why are you so relaxed right now? And it's like, because I can't control what's going on, but I can control how I react to it, So next. When in a group of people you do not know, you have no problem jumping right into their conversation. If I'm in a group of people that I don't know, let me put myself in that situation. I've been in that situation, but let me put myself there now, because it's been a little while since I've been in a group of people that I don't know. Why would I be in a group of people that I don't know? I mean, if I know what they're talking about, I can definitely throw my 2 cents in completely without having any issues. But I'll put a small agree. Because maybe the courage won't be there. I feel like sometimes it's not. But sometimes it's just like, I know exactly what they're talking about. I could just, throw in what I want to say. You know what I mean? It just depends on how I feel at that moment. When you sleep, your dreams tend to be bizarre and fantastical. Strongly agree. My dreams don't make a lot of sense. In your opinion, it is sometimes okay to step on others to get ahead in life. Fuck, dude. Have I ever stepped on others to get ahead in life? I think I have. Let's be real here. Would I? Is the real question. Yeah. But do I think it's okay to do that? Because I can do stuff that I don't think is okay. Do I think it's okay to do that? I mean, morally speaking, I don't think it's okay to do that. But let me think about that situation. You want something, someone else is kind of below you, maybe like riding your coattails. Is it okay to exploit what they can't do? To show off for yourself? To step on somebody? To use them? Step on is like a very degrading term, though. That's like, you know, keeping them out of the loop and you stepping 10 feet ahead of them or something like that. I don't think it's okay. I don't think it's okay. I small disagree. I'll put a somewhat disagree. Well, I don't think it's okay though, so I should put a strong disagree. Okay, I'll put a strong disagree. I don't think it's okay to do that. But it kind of depends on the person. You know what? No, sometimes it is okay because some people piss me off, and those are the people that deserve it. I'm sorry. But if you're below me and you're trying to treat me like shit, like I'm not gonna ever have an opportunity to step on you, like you think I can't do that and you're treating me like shit. And you think, what, you just think I'm not gonna do that? If I have the power to do that and you're treating me like shit, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? Some people are like that. So I'll put a small agree. Sometimes I think it is okay. Because of people like that. You are dedicated and focused on your goals, only rarely getting sidetracked. I get sidetracked. I'll put a medium disagree. I do get sidetracked. If you make a mistake, you tend to start doubting yourself, your abilities, or your knowledge. Let me think about the times I've made a mistake. I really want to answer these as honestly as possible. So, let me see here. I mean, it's hard to like even, it's so like vague. Like a mistake doing what? Like I'm thinking of all the times I've made mistakes or all the times I could make mistakes. I'm thinking about the times I could make mistakes. Let me think about the mistakes I've actually made. I know this is kind of like an egotistical thing to say, but I can't fucking think of any mistakes that I've made. For some reason, I'm blanking the fuck out right now. I really am having a hard time answering this question because I can't think of any mistakes that I've made. I just can't think of any fucking mistakes that I would have made at all. God, that sounds so shitty. Let's say I'm in school and I make a mistake. God, would I doubt myself though? Like, would I? I don't know. I don't fucking know if I would. I'm having a hard time with this one. If you make a mistake, you tend to start doubting yourself and your abilities. Ah, do I? Or do I brush it off? Sometimes I feel like I just brush it off. But sometimes I don't. That's why these tests, I hate them sometimes because it's really all down the middle for almost all of these. I'm so fucking split because sometimes it's that way and sometimes it's just not. Like, and it's not like more of this and more of that. It's not. It's completely almost like I can't say which one is more and which one's less. I can't. Like, I don't know. So I'm having a hard time with this. If you make a mistake, you tend to start doubting yourself and your abilities. Do I do that? I don't fucking know. I really don't know. I don't know. You know what? I'm going to put in the middle because I really can't answer that question for some reason. When at a social event, you rarely try to introduce yourself to new people. You mostly talk to the ones you already knew. People usually introduce themselves to me immediately. Um, Let me see here. At a social event, um, I don't walk up to people and introduce myself. I really don't. Like, people usually introduce me to people. You know what I mean? Because why am I introducing myself to people? Like, why am I doing that? You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Am I walking up to strangers and introducing myself? That seems weird to me for some reason. I get introduced to strangers a lot, but I usually. Maybe it's because I don't have a chance to. No, I have a chance to, and I don't do it. I say nice to meet you if I, like, am next to them for whatever reason. Maybe we're both getting something from the table. I say, hey, it's nice to meet you. But they usually do the introducing, like, on me, kind of. Like, oh, what's your name, you know? Yeah, I would say I agree. I don't usually introduce myself to people that I don't know already. Something I'd like to change about myself. Um, Gotta work on that. So I would say I strongly agree. But if there's somebody that really catches my attention, I'm gonna introduce myself to them. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. You usually lose interest in a discussion when it gets philosophical. Strongly. Well, I say a lot of philosophical shit. So it's kind of like, so I would say, oh, I completely disagree. But what if someone else says something philosophical? No, I don't lose interest. No, I somewhat disagree. Because sometimes if someone says something philosophical, there's really nothing you can say to it. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, that's the end of the conversation, kind of. I mean, just drop that on us. So I would say I somewhat disagree. I don't fully disagree. You would never let yourself cry in front of others. I don't like to cry in front of others. But never is a strong fucking word. I disagree. I think there's times where it's okay to cry in front of others. I just can't think of any, but I know there's got to be some times where it's okay to do that. I small disagree with that. I don't like crying in front of others, but I can see situations where I think it would be fine. You feel more drawn to places with a bustling and busy atmosphere than to more quiet, intimate ones. I agree. I'll put I'll put a small agree because Well, I don't know. Some places are really beautiful and they're not busy. But cities are exciting and I kind of like the noise and stuff. No, you know what? I'm on the opposite side of that spectrum now that I'm thinking about it. I would disagree. I am kind of more drawn to outdoors type stuff, like not a city, but more like a forest or like acres. You know what I mean? I'm more drawn to that, more deeply drawn to that at least. My excitement is more drawn towards like cities, but like my desire and my heart, like where it drives me to, it steers me towards like, you know, forests and acres and stuff like that. And I think that's the same with most people. But cities are exciting. It's just that what's deep inside me is not a driving force to go to the city. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm kind of split on that one. So maybe I should change my answer to the middle. As you can see, these tests are kind of hard for me to do for some reason. Maybe I'm just crazy. Maybe I'm an insane person. Maybe that's why I can't answer these basic fucking questions. You feel more drawn. No, I feel more drawn to like acres and forests and stuff. I do. But not all the time. We're just going to leave it at that. You like discussing different views and theories on what the world would look like in the future. I strongly agree. I do like discussing that, and I think about it a lot. When it comes to making life-changing choices, you mostly listen to your heart rather than your head. No, if I listened to my heart, I would end up being poor. I would end up having a really unstable everything. My life would be unstable if I only listen to my heart. My brain tells me money's important, a house is important, and a car is important. That's what my brain tells me. My heart doesn't tell me that. Okay. It says life-changing choices, though. Life-changing. The only time you would ever make a life-changing choice is really when you're following your heart, right? Getting married or maybe like making a big investment. You don't take risks. Logic has nothing to do with risks. It doesn't want you to take risks, but your heart does. But sometimes it's logical to take certain risks. So I'd say that I usually listen to my heart with big changes. I listen to my heart. I'll put a somewhat agree to that. You cannot imagine yourself dedicating your life to the study of something that you cannot see, touch, or experience. Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't do that. Next, you usually prefer to get your revenge rather than forgive. Strongly agree. Revenge, I feel like it gets a bad rap because it's like revenge, and revenge begets revenge. Not all the time. Most people don't have the balls to stand up to you after you get your revenge. They kind of back down and say sorry most of the time. And it's not all like, kill 5 of me, we'll kill 10 of you. Like, it's not all about that. I think revenge is healthy, kind of. I think you forgive after the revenge because then it's equal. Okay. We're even now, you know? Now I can forgive you. That makes more sense. It feels like there's something missing in between the pain and forgiveness. Like, there needs to be something in the middle. I think that's revenge. I think revenge is fine, and I would much rather have revenge than forgive. And that's just the way I am. I'm not going to apologize for it. You often make decisions on a whim. Well, this fucking is. If this has any proof, then fucking. That's a big disagree. But it depends how I fucking feel. Sometimes I make big decisions on a whim. It says often, though. So usually, do I usually make decisions on a whim? Yeah, pretty much. Small agree. I don't, you know, I don't really like, I don't like backing down from things just because they might be difficult. And I don't like having to do things just because they might be easy. It could be easy. I might not want to do it anyway. It could be really hard and might make things really complicated and I'll want to do it anyway. And I think that is the definition of doing things on a whim, is because you're not really thinking about it. And I think I do that. So I'll put a small agree because, as you can see, it's not always. Like with shit like this, it's not on a whim. But like I said, I'm trying to answer it as good as possible. The time you spend by yourself often ends up being more interesting and satisfying than the time you spend with other people. I strongly disagree. There's nothing satisfying or interesting about spending time with yourself. I don't know why all these fucking philosophical people always say that. Einstein said it. Fucking Mark Twain said it. I think Edgar Allan Poe said it. It's a fucking lie. I'm sorry. It's a lie. It's way better to spend time with people. It just is. I spend a lot of time by myself. Sometimes it's like I don't learn anything. Like, there's no experience there. I don't know. You often put special effort into interpreting the real meaning or message of a song or movie. I'll put a small agree. Sometimes I do that. You always know exactly what you want. I'll put a small disagree. I don't always, but when I do, it's very strong. You rarely think back on the choices you made and wonder what you could have done differently. I don't often do that. I'll say small disagree. Next. When in a public place, usually stick to quieter and less crowded areas. Um, I would say I small agree to that. You tend to focus on the present realities rather than the future possibilities. I I agree with that. Small disagree. You often have a hard time understanding other people's feelings. Um, I big disagree with that. Well, I somewhat disagree. Sometimes I do, but most of the time I don't. When starting to work on a project, you prefer to make as many decisions up front as possible. Strong agree. Make decisions up front, everything else goes smooth. When you know someone thinks highly of you, you also wonder how long it will be until they become disappointed in you. I do that. I'll put a small agree though, because sometimes I have a lot of confidence and I don't think that way. Um, you feel comfortable just walking up to someone you find interesting and striking up a conversation. Yeah, if I find them interesting, then yeah, there's enough pull there. You often drift away into daydreaming about various ideas or scenarios. Strongly agree. You look after yourself first and others come in second. Oh, fuck. Um, fuck, I'm fucking lost on this one. I have to make decisions fast. I'm running out of time. I small agree. I think about myself more than others. Yes. Even when you have planned, but not all the time. Even when you have planned a particular daily routine, you usually just end up doing what you feel like at any given moment. Um, yeah, I have to agree with that. Medium agree. Sometimes I can stick to it somewhat. Your mood can change very quickly. Strong agree. Yes, it can. You often contemplate the reasons for human existence and the meaning of life. No, big disagree. I don't often do that. I do it sometimes. You often talk about your own feelings and emotions. Strongly agree. Yes, I do talk about my feelings and emotions a lot. You got a detailed education or career development plan stretching several years into the future. Strongly disagree. I don't know why anyone would have that. You rarely dwell on your regrets. I strongly agree. I don't. Oh, yeah, I rarely do it. Spending time in a dynamic atmosphere with lots of people around quickly makes you feel drained and need to get away. Um, a small disagree. It depends on the people. Um, you see yourself as more of a realist than a visionary. Uh, I would strongly disagree. I would somewhat disagree. It depends what I'm thinking about. You find it easy to empathize with the person who has gone through something you never have. Small agree. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Your personal work style is closer to spontaneous burst of energy than to organized and consistent efforts. Strongly agree. It's usually bursts of energy. Fuck, there's more, dude. Okay, your emotions control you more than you control them. Strongly agree. Unfortunately, that's true. I have to work on that. After a long and but that's led me to some of the coolest shit in my life. Some of the coolest experiences, honestly, is following my emotions. After a long and exhausting week, a fun party is just what you need. I kind of would rather just fucking relax, but it could be kind of fun. I would somewhat agree. You frequently find yourself wondering how technological advancement could change everyday life. Um, I don't frequently, I would put a small agree. I do think about it a lot. I wouldn't say frequently, that's kind of a strong word. You always consider how your actions might affect other people before you do something. Disagree, I don't always think about it. You still honor the commitments you have made, even if you have change of heart. A small disagree. It's hard for me to keep the commitments I made when I don't feel like doing them anymore. You rarely feel insecure. Disagree. I feel insecure more than rarely. And here are the results. Mind is 67%. I'm more extroverted than introverted. That surprises me. Energy is 63%. I'm more intuitive than observant. And I'm more feeling than thinking. That doesn't surprise me. I'm more prospecting than judging. And I'm more turbulent than assertive. Pretty assertive about things, but I guess it all depends. It doesn't interest me what you do for a living. I want to know what you have an ache for, and if you dare to dream of meeting your heart's longing. Okay. So I have the campaigner. So I have campaigner ENFP minus A. I think. A true free spirit, they are often the life of the party, but unlike types in the explorer role group. I don't know. I'll just let you, because this times out at 33 minutes, so I'm just going to let you pause this and read it. And it's probably pretty accurate to me, but I just wanted to see what I would get. And I got the campaigner. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I'll be back in a flash.